And good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Brooks. On this big election night, we certainly have a lot to talk about. Let's go ahead and bring in, I think we're going to go to our expert right now. We have Dr. Matt Mata. He's an assistant professor of political science at Oklahoma State University. We're breaking down the results, what we can expect tonight. Dr. Mata, thank you very much. I was just looking at some of the numbers here on my sheet of paper. It's right behind me. Let me show you here. Okay, now I'm looking at the votes for president, and I have a strange question I'd like to begin this whole interview with. 4,117 Oklahomans voted for Kanye West. Why do people do that?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different theories about this. Most of the people who tend to vote third party, especially in uncompetitive races, are the types of people who either had some race down the ballot that they wanted to participate in and just didn't have any strong preference at the top of the ballot, in this case, the presidential race, or they're voters who are particularly galvanized to vote for one of these third party candidates over another and turn out for that purpose. So 4,000 Oklahomans voting for Kanye West, it could be because they didn't have any strong preferences in the race versus Biden or Trump, or it could be because they're actually pretty big Kanye West fans.
They wanted the bragging rights to say they voted for him for president. Okay, I also went through the list of, let's talk about the district representatives, which we're sending a lot of the same people back, okay? So we have Markwayne Mullin, District 2 going back. It looks like Frank Lucas. We have Tom Cole. Until we get to District 5, we talked about this last time. This was Kinder Horn and Stephanie Bice, which is still pretty close. Kind of talk to me about what's going on with this race.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what we saw earlier on in the night was a fairly large lead for Kendra Horn. That was to be expected. The early votes, as I've talked about earlier, tend to skew Democratic in this cycle. And what's happened is that margin has closed a little bit over time. I don't think that anybody will be making a call on that race anytime soon, maybe past the top of the next hour, maybe sometime this hour. But what we can expect for the next hour or so is some amount of tightening. And, like I said before, the polls had this race very, very close. Republicans see it as perhaps their single best chance to flip a blue seat, and a lot of money and a lot of ads were aired in Oklahoma's fifth. So I expect this to be competitive right to the end.
And very quickly, what are you seeing on a national level as we look at Trump and Biden? What are we seeing now?
Absolutely. So it looks like President Trump is going to hold Florida and Georgia. Joe Biden is currently ahead in North Carolina and surprisingly in Ohio. If those leads hold, President Trump's pathways to victory are quite small. And if Ohio holds, it's almost certain that Joe Biden would be the president. But it is far, far, far too close to call in either of those states right now.
So people need to hang with us and continue watching. Dr. Mata, thank you very much for your time.